Greetings and welcome to another Pokémon Horizons The Series anime episode preview discussion. This time I'm talking about the preview for episode 75, so let's get to it. This episode will be something special since it will focus almost entirely on the adventures of Lucius, Rystal, and Gibeon. I say almost entirely because the previous episode ended with Liko and company meeting Rystal at the Crystal Pool, so I can see episode 75 beginning or ending with Rystal recounting the story we will see in this episode, and Liko and company reacting to and discussing it. In any case, there's no doubt we're getting to see plenty of Lucius and company, which is very exciting. I'm pretty sure I said at some point that it would be great if we got to see episodes dedicated to Lucius and his adventures, so obviously I'm thrilled. Now as for what exactly we will see in this episode, well, several things actually. First, Lucius, Rystal, and the Terapagos are seen flying together on Rayquaza. This appears to be them just having fun together like a family would, though of course they could also be trying to get somewhere. However, this seems unlikely since Gibeon is not with them, meaning they would be leaving him behind, unless he's following them with Zygarde, and we just cannot see that in this shot. In any case, this is a cool sequence. Next, we see Lucius and Risto talking by a campfire. We of course have no idea what they're talking about, however, in this shot we can see Lucius's journal, meaning he had it with him throughout his journey, writing in it as he went along. It's not something he wrote after the fact. More importantly, we see that Rystal has the Scarlet Book with her, proving that Lucius did have access to it like Briar, Freed, and Dot surmised. Though since we now know that Terapagos is Rystal's Pokemon, not Lucius's, it makes sense that she's the one with the Scarlet Book, which might be how she found the Terapagos in the first place, or she found both of them together. I also have to say that tender, sweet moments like this and them flying on Rayquaza together makes me hope that we will get to see some romance. I'm curious to know if they fell in love prior to their adventure and they set off together as a couple, or if they fell in love and became a couple during their journey to Laqua. I know this is probably not too important to the narrative, but I love romance, so it would be nice to see. Finally, we see Lucius, Rystal, and Gibeon battling presumably wild Pokemon. We don't get to see who they're battling apart from a Luxray. Though it's interesting that it clearly has a pink aura, meaning that it's likely under the influence of Laquium. So like Spinel's Umbreon, it's gone berserk with an immense surge of power. It's safe to say that Lucius and company will battle several such Pokemon. Additional things worth pointing out are, first, that Terapagos is seen in its terrestrial form, blocking Luxray's attack. So it seems Terapagos did indeed have the power to assume its true form more readily back then. Second, that Gibeon's Zygarde is seen in its 50% form like in the latest opening, using what I assume is Lance Wrath, meaning that it truly was in its 50% form back then, and something made it regress to its 10% form, which is how we've seen it in current times. And finally, Lucius is seen with 5 of the 6 heroes standing behind him, ready to fight. No idea where Rayquaza is in this moment. In any case, this is one badass shot. Seeing such an amazing team together with their legendary trainer is very cool. I had a thought though, what if Rayquaza gets corrupted by Laquium as well? And this is Lucius and the other heroes standing against it. This would be insane, and it would explain why Rayquaza is not seen here. The most interesting thing of this part of the preview, however, is without a doubt the fact that Rystal and Gibeon are seen completely losing their cool as they see Lucius walking away with his back turned, looking very much like someone that is about to sacrifice himself for the greater good. We do see a dark tower of spiraling wind rising up into the sky where it creates some sort of storm that gets larger and larger. This normally denotes an apocalyptic event. The origin point of this is a pile of pink crystals, aka eternal blessings, aka Laquium, suggesting that it does more than just turn Pokemon feral and extremely powerful. It has the ability to affect the world at large. Presumably this pile of them afflicted all the Pokemon in the area, forcing Lucius, Rystal, and Gibeon to battle them, ultimately needing to put an end to the root of the problem, the pile of crystals, and Lucius steps up to do this in a way that puts him at risk. Hence why Rystal and Gibeon are so devastated. I've been saying for a while that I feel that something catastrophic happened in Laqua that forced Lucius to stay behind. This proves that I may be onto something here. We will finally learn what exactly happened and whether or not Lucius is still alive. Though of course this would mean that this episode will take place in Laqua, which is possible, though of course we have no way of confirming this from just the preview since we have no clue what Laqua looks like. Now, if Laquium is so dangerous to the point that it potentially costed Lucius his life, why does Gibeon want it? He saw what happened that day to a man who was presumably a close friend of his, no less. Could he have been corrupted by such a vile power? Did he become deluded upon seeing it in action? I guess we will have to wait and see. Finally, throughout the preview, Lucius says that he wants someone. He says you, but it's unclear who he's talking to. Presumably, he is talking to Rystal and or Gibeon to find the beauty of this world, adventures as they live alongside Pokemon, and their future. This sounds like the classic last words entrusting everything to those closest to you right before meeting your untimely demise. Or like famous last words that foreshadow said demise. Hopefully Lucius survived whatever happened so that he can reunite with the heroes, his great-granddaughter, and his great-great-granddaughter. Speaking of and going back to what I said earlier of hopefully seeing Lucius and Rystal's love story, they had a kid, so Lucius likely did not die in this moment unless they had Layla before they set off on their adventure. But would they really leave their child somewhere while they go off on a potentially life-threatening adventure? Probably not. So presumably Lucius survived this and went on to live peacefully with Rystal, at least for a while. Unless Layla came into the picture during the journey, with Rystal having her after they reached Laqua and the crisis took place. If that's the case, it might mean that Layla never met her father, which would of course be very sad. As usual, there are a lot of questions. Like I said up top, this episode will for sure be something special. We're bound to learn so many amazing and interesting things. Plus, just getting to see such a grand adventure from long ago will be a unique and marvelous experience for sure. Man, I cannot wait to see episode 75 when it airs on November 29. As always, I will review the episode once it airs, so please keep an eye out for that. Now, I'm sure you're eager to check out some more of my videos, so go ahead and click the links on screen. Also, if you enjoy what I do and want to help me keep creating content like this, please consider supporting me directly through one of the links in the description below. Thank you so very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.